Hello, good morning. Welcome to my Ford Fusion. We are driving a Ford Fusion. We have our Burger King iced coffee. It is great. It's been a while since I've had one, and we actually tried hash browns, Burger King hash browns. Very good. I will say they're pretty good. Very comparable to McDonald's. The only difference is they're cheaper and you get more. McDonald's, you get a patty, but most other places you usually get little tokens, little coin-sized hash browns, and that's what we got today. $1, I believe, for at least 12 or so in that little package. There was a good amount of them, and I ate them. I loved them. My wife said she loved them too. So if we have her authentication for how good they are, then you know they're good. She's the hash brown queen. She's the queen of hash browns. So hey, I wanted to talk about what is our favorite era of gaming. I want to hear your guys's. Nick's, I'm sure you probably will comment. Nichols, what's your favorite era, man? You love it? You love it. All right, so I'm gonna say. It's so easy to just say, yeah, when I was growing up, man. Like my childhood or whatever. And for me, my childhood was Super Nintendo, NES, Sega Genesis, Nintendo 64, you know, the mid-90s, you know. That was my era of gaming growing up. And I grew up with it. I bought every new console that came out. The only consoles I didn't fuck with were like the ColecoVision and anything that was pre-NES. I don't really mess around with that other than the 2600. I ended up buying one of those off eBay in like 1998. I was like really into collecting games, and like it's weird. I had like seen my future of like I want to be a video game collector. So I started collecting anything gaming related, magazines, games, consoles, controllers. I wanted to collect anything gaming. And it was really weird because nobody like in our area were really into games yet. So like, I think most kids kept it closeted, to be honest, because there was this one kid who, he was from a very wealthy family, so maybe it's possible he amassed all of this very quickly. But I vividly remember the day that the Game Boy Advance, I think it was the Game Boy Advance SP came out. And this kid gets it. Maybe it was just a normal Game Boy Advance. I don't know. I was in 4th grade or 5th grade. Pretty sure I was 4th or 5th grade. And this kid, he came in with the brand new whatever it was, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got this over the weekend. I got 10 games. Here's my carrying case with all the games in it." And I was like, "Damn, this kid got hooked up." And he's like, "Yeah, it's not bad, but he's like, I don't know how long I'm gonna play it for." I was like, dude, you literally have like the newest thing. Like, you're gonna love that thing. Keep playing it. Like, I was like, this kid, I know these kind of kids. But then I ended up finding out that he had bought the PlayStation 2 when it came out with like 10 games, and he got that, and he got all this other new stuff, and he's like, yeah, I got rid of my Super Nintendo with all those games too. And I was like, how have I gone to school with this kid for a few years and like not knowing that he was into games? And I realized he didn't tell anybody that he played games. The only kids that I remember playing games, like, openly, were me, and there was this kid named Antonio. He played a lot of games, and then, yeah, it was pretty much up until about 5th grade is when, like, it was just pretty much me. There was me, and then there was one other kid I remember in an art class. He came in, and he was like, "Oh, are you reading Tips and Tricks?" I was like, "Yeah, dude." He's like, "Oh, I love it." So he was loving that I was reading a gaming magazine. And I was loving the fact that he noticed it. So that's how that worked. Alright, we got a trash truck here. I'll go around in 1 second. But yeah, so that was like the era that I feel like the majority of people would be like, yeah, that was my favorite time in the game. My favorite time in the game, honestly, was probably when the most important development phase happened, which was my teenage years. So we're talking probably, I'd say late teens, closer to adulthood, honestly. Pretty much from ages like 14 to like 18 or so. That's just when I was going through the Xbox and the Xbox 360 era of games. And it was not just that, like, originally I was going to talk about the PlayStation 3, because when I got the PlayStation 3 in 2009, so yeah, I was 18 then, yeah, I was 18, was I 18? Yeah, I had to have been. Yeah, so the PlayStation 3 to me is like this weird nighttime console that I always had, where, because I did the majority of my gaming in my bedroom, and it's kind of odd. So I ended up getting this weird, like, when my dad got a tax return one year, right after he got disabled, we got money, like, allotted to us, like, me and my brother, I believe. So I had, like, $2,000, like, just, like, given to me, basically. And what I did is I was like, oh, fuck yeah. So I went and bought my first HD TV, and I bought a PlayStation 3, and I think I bought some games. I think I actually have a video of it. It was, like, honestly one of the first videos that I put on YouTube that was, like, it wasn't just, like, a random upload of something of, like, yeah, look at this. It was, like, I put a little editing into it, like, put some music into it, and put some text on the screen, and stuff like that. But yeah, I bought that. I bought a GameFly subscription and rented Persona 3 for the PlayStation 2. But that was a weird time, because I had this amazing TV out there, a 47-inch LCD, full 1080p. I had like 4 HDMI ports. I had 2 composites, 2 components. It was to this day, it's still a really good TV. Like, there's very little input lag on it. I still use it in my bedroom, ironically, with the PlayStation 3. So when I bought that TV with the PlayStation 3 and Metal Gear Solid 4, this TV and this PlayStation were kept in the living room, and I would always sneak out there, and I'd always play it at nighttime. Just, I don't know why, just usually that's basically when everybody on Skype got off, and I'd go out there and either watch, like, Twin Peaks at 2 in the morning, or I'd go out there and play, like, Disgaea. I'd play some of that. I would always rent these weird JRPGs, because to me the PS3 was like a exclusive machine. I'd buy it for the exclusives on there. So I'd play games on there like that, and play like this and that. So I'd do that, and it was cool. I liked it a lot. I played a lot of PS3 games. It's kind of weird to think that I don't remember the last PS3 game I played. I remember the last PS3 game I bought. It was, pretty sure it was, Atelier. I don't even remember which one it was, to be honest. It was one of the Atelier games, and I had bought it with my wife, and came home. This is before we had a couch in our new place. So we had a giant mattress out there on the floor, and we had a nice reclining chair. And so we're out there laying down on the bed, playing some games, and, what do you call it? I started playing that game, and I was like, why the fuck did I buy this game? So, the Atelier games, I've played 2 of them, are, from what I can tell, the same game almost every time. They just make slight alterations, like, guess what? Now it's a brother and a sister, or guess what? It's 2 best friends, you know? It's very predictable what it is. So there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just very basic JRPG. So I bought this game, and I was like, why the fuck did I buy this game? So I think we ended up taking it back, like, immediately and getting a return and buying something else. And oddly, I did that with Dark Souls 2. When Dark Souls 2 first came out, I was like, babe, we're getting this shit. I bought it day 1, went home, and then I think we had, like, a tough time, so I ended up, not like a financially tough time, not the game itself. So I ended up selling it, and then, that was the end of that for a few years. But that was a notable time. That wasn't the whole reason. It wasn't just the PS3 thing. That was just a time that stands out to me as, like, this weird, like, dark. I think of it as like a dark console. Like, I've got more, like, darkness attached to that console than, like, the 360. The 360 is on the other spectrum to me. Like, the day that we got the 360 was magical. Basically what happened was my dad got like a disability check or something. It was a hefty sum, and we ended up dropping my brother off at like his GED classing. Like he had to go to these classes for his GED prep, and so we dropped him off there. And my dad, of course, spoils the shit out of us. So he's like, hey, let's go to Kmart real quick. He's like, we'll go get some shit before we go get your brother. So we go to Kmart, and we're looking through the store, loving it, you know. So he ended up buying like a surround sound system and some other shit. But this was like early 2006, probably like April. It's either March or April. Because the 360 had literally been sold out up until that point. Like, it had came and gone, like, in short waves after November 2005. But for the most part, the 360 was sold out of Hall stores for a while. But, yeah, so fucking, we ended up going to Kmart, and they had the 360 in stock that day. It was just there was two versions. There was the core and the premium, and the core was the $299 with no hard drive option, and it came with a non-shiny controller. It was just like matte white all over it. The premium one had like silver buttons or something on the trigger buttons up top were silver, which is cool. But I didn't give a fuck. I was like, they already sell the hard drive. I'll just go buy a memory card. So what ended up happening is I bought the core. And then we ended up going to get my brother, whatever, went back home, and then I was like, yes, I'm going to play this game. And then I was like, I can't do shit without a memory card or a hard drive. So I ended up telling my dad that, and he's like, all right, well, he's like, why don't you just go down to like Target or something and buy a hard drive or a memory card? I was like, okay, I guess I could. So my mom or something was in the area, and she was going to the mall, so we ended up going with her down to Target, and then I ended up buying a hard drive. The memory cards were all sold out or something. It's kind of weird because the memory cards I think were only like 64 megabytes or something, or a few hundred megabytes. I should look that up. I don't remember. But we ended up getting the hard drive, and I remember it's so weird to think. So this is 2006. I ended up going outside and sitting on this bench. It's like in the mall still, but like right outside Target. So I go out there and sit after I had bought this thing by myself. And this is like right before I was like full recluse. But I remember sitting in that mall, and it was so busy, and I don't know why it was busy, because it wasn't that crazy, like the shit that was going on. Like it wasn't shopping season, holidays, or anything like that. But that mall was so packed with people, and that was like the last time I really partaked in the mall before I became full recluse. So I was thinking, like, at one point that mall was booming constantly, like. This was like a Tuesday morning or something, or like a Tuesday afternoon. It wasn't that late in the afternoon, but it was probably like right after school, so maybe that was a factor. But yeah, the years that followed 2006 with the 360 were insane. So much games. I don't think she noticed me. But yeah, it was crazy. It was a good time. I'll talk more about that generation, just the games that stood out to me and some of the memories that stood out. But for the most part, it was fucking amazing. Loved it. I went shopping yesterday for food. Bought a lot. Bought this really good chocolate. It's some bootleg brand. Chocor. It's chocolate hazelnut. It's pretty good. How much sugar? 16 sugar in this entire bar. Yeah, that ain't bad. 16 sugars in the whole bar. 200 calories. It's produced by the Utz company, which make potato chips, so that's crazy. Alright, goodbye.